with my sound bearers. On this earth, like we're two gangs trying to fight and lost the time. When all we really need to do is listen to each other's views on things. Cause the only way to maintain good love, good love. Sometimes we get stuck on our own love. Good love to every innocent us. Listen, communicate, but listen to one another. We made it this far because we wanted to make it this far. Even though sometimes it was hard, we stayed together. We didn't fall apart. Now we can sit back and laugh on all the things we didn't have. Sometimes we get stuck on our own love. Good love to every innocent us. Listen, communicate, but listen to one another. We made it this far because we wanted to make it this far. And even though sometimes it was hard, we stayed together. We didn't fall apart. Good love, good love. Sometimes we get stuck on our own love. Good love to every innocent us. Listen, communicate, but listen to one another. We made it this far because we wanted to make it this far. And even though sometimes it was hard, we stayed together. We didn't fall apart. Good evening, and good evening. Welcome to another edition of Love, Marriage, and Ministry. It's the social media talk show right here live on social media. We're broadcasting out of charming Charleston, South Carolina. You have yours truly, Derek Moon, along with my wife, my better half, my partner, this chick on my side. You gonna say your name?
Charmaine Moon.
Charmaine Moon. We thank God for Charmaine being in the building with me, my better half. This is our third episode.
I don't know. It's just an episode. I don't keep up with the numbers. I'm just here when you say go.
Right.
Oh man.
Right. We're glad to be here tonight. This evening, this beautiful Saturday evening, third Saturday of the month. We always do it live every first and third Saturday. We do come in live. It's a talk show where it is an interactive talk show. So we want to remind you guys that you are more than welcome to be a part of the conversation. We are live on Facebook as well as live on YouTube.
simultaneously. And we invite you to be a part of the conversation on tonight and any night that we are here. You can post your comments, and we do have a phone line. You can call in to 843-648-1239. I'm going to post that up here in just a moment. 843-648-1239 is the number to call to be a part of the conversation. Your comments, your thoughts, your words of wisdom are welcome here. It is an interactive show, so we want you guys to interact with us, whether calling with your comments, whether it be a difference of opinion or an agreement on something we may or may not have said, or something that you want us to know, or you want to share. You want to share your testimony or share your thoughts on it. You do not have to agree with us. It's a talk show. We don't need everybody just saying amen. But if it's something that you hear us saying, you say, well, I don't particularly agree with that, you're more than welcome to come and share your opinions. We are adults, and we can definitely talk about it, and we can agree to disagree if that be the case. But you are more than welcome to be a part of the conversation anytime. That's what Love, Marriage, and Ministry is all about. Uh, 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 a wide array of conversations that we have, and the conversation could go any way. We have no idea. Your input will help dictate where the conversation goes. So we want to say good evening to you. We thank God for you. For the next 2 hours, we'll be here, and you're more than welcome to call up somebody and let them know to join in. Please share the video. Definitely want you to share the video and let people know that this is where the conversation is happening, right here every first and third Saturday. And if you miss the conversation, you might be hearing this on the replay. We appreciate you guys that might want rewatch the replay of the videos, or you can catch it on next Saturday on Exquisite Internet Radio. If you have not done so, make sure that you download the Exquisite Internet Radio app, where you can get the Raw Praise Party Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. And you can catch every second and fourth Saturday. You can catch the Love, Marriage, and Ministry replay. Amen?
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. So,
I had two different topics.
Okay, well, shoot. Go ahead. Do what you do. I got to do some typing anyway.
Well, we had two different topics that we wanted to talk about. One was, how do you rebuild trust in a marriage once the trust has been broken? And then the other topic is building ministry, pros and cons of building a ministry from scratch.
We got a 2-hour show, so you can do one in 1 hour. Then we take our break. We'll come back to talk about the other topic.
Because I just want everybody to know. So we'll do the second one first, building ministry from scratch. There's a big difference when it comes down to building a ministry from scratch than it is for you just going in and taking over a ministry, or going in and something is being handed to you. It's a big difference. And no matter how you've been given it or how you got it, it all takes work. It's still, even after you have ministry and you're trying to move forward in ministry, you still have to work the ministry. A lot of times, I've been watching a lot of things lately, and believe it or not, I was having a conversation with someone that I'll say they're not even in church, but they asked me a question the other day, and they was asking about the being out of church during this time that we are, and because they saw something on Facebook where people were talking about sowing into their ministry, because they know their ministry was down. Everybody's ministry is closed, but they were still asking people to, because they had to take care of the ministry. They needed everybody to sow a seed to help their ministry just stay afloat. And I'm saying to myself, what could I respond to, or how can I respond to, that situation? And they were asking me why people are asking for money when we're going through such a trying time, where people who ain't even at church, they're probably going through a situation where they're in need of money themselves, and to me, I just didn't feel like it was wise. Some people might agree, they might disagree, but I don't think it was, was or either is a wise decision, or even a wise question, because of the simple fact that we were, since March, going through this whole, pandemic situation. And if we knew one thing. We knew that ministries have been closed down for, a period of time, people's jobs, and, whatever finances people had to come up with, or like me, I had to use what I had in the bank because, to make sure that the bills are paid, or my portion of the bills are paid, so that we wasn't coming back out of, the pandemic into a situation where it's like, okay, we ain't paid the light bill all this time, or we ain't paid none of our bill all the time, and now everything is doubled up, or they coming at you with it. So, to me, that was just not a wise question to put out there, as men and women of God, for people to sow into your ministry, a ministry that has been shut down during the pandemic. Now, if you chose, to stay open, during, and still have services, that was totally up to you. You know what I mean? That's not on the people, that aren't there, or that aren't even a part of your ministry, to continue to sow seeds into your ministry, and you're not there in the building. It's a difference between building your ministry from scratch and you having a ministry. Because anybody can go out there and say, okay, well, I'm gonna go in and just go and get me a church. And when we just go out and we go get us a church, then now we're trying to figure out how we're going to do this. So instead of us having some leading guidance from God on how to build ministry, because the word of God said, a wise man builds their house, and a fool tears it down. So we have to understand that if you didn't get any instructions from God, then you're going to have a time trying to maintain and trying to keep your house moving forward. A lot of times, if you're out there building your ministry from scratch, you have to do everything from scratch. You have to go find your building, or to have services and different stuff. You have to buy all the equipment, all the furnitures, decorations. You got to purchase everything. And it's a difference. If when you go to a ministry, everything already in there, you don't have to go buy nothing. All you do is getting in the pulpit and start preaching.
Mhm.
All you doing is getting up there and teaching the people, whatever you want to call it. But when you have to go out there and buy everything from scratch, and you have to go out there and start from scratch with building fellowships with different people and different things like that, it's a difference, Derek, when you want a fellowship with other people and you don't really genuinely want a fellowship with a particular church that you see is moving forward or thriving, but you see people are always there.
Mhm.
So you go and you say, well, I'm gonna go visit down there, not because you want to go visit for the right thing, but because you're trying to build your ministry, and
Right.
because you're trying to get you some fellowship. You go to other people's churches
You're not
and
really
try
friendly,
to
but you
go
acting
to-
like you're friendly.
you go to other people's churches and try to bring
All-
people back
That's the
with you.
ulterior motive.
That's not how you go out in fellowship and try to get people to be a part of what you got going on, because the Bible tells me that if I be lifted up, then I'll draw all men, and our light should be shining enough that we don't have to go out there to nobody else ministry, nobody else church, and try to pull people in. And you know what I understand too, or I've seen too, Derek, like when people go through their little situations, and back in the days we could take chastisement. Back in the days we could take correction, we could take rebuke. Somebody can sit us down for 30 days. We be sitting down. Some had to sit down for 60, 90 days. We sit there. Why? Because it was a process that we had to go through. It was something that we had to be taught. It was something that we were doing that we probably should not have been doing.
Right.
So back then, leadership, whether they were just starting their ministry or they were already in there,
Mhm.
if you were a part of that ministry, you had to learn how to take chastisement and different things like that. Now people don't want to do that.
No.
People are concerned more about, okay, well, they're gonna leave the ministry. If I say this or I say that, they're gonna up and leave. If I correct them about this or correct them about that, they're gonna leave the ministry, they're gonna leave the church, and they're gonna take this person with them. Why are we so concerned about that? If you're doing the work that God has called you to do, continue to build that ministry. Continue to build on that foundation. And guess what? Of truth. A lot of people don't want to accept, they don't want to take the truth no more.
Mm.
They people are just doing just what the Bible says. A lot of people would rather have itchy ears. They'd rather have somebody come and scratch their ear, make them feel good, tell them some sweet things, and prophesy to them all day about the things they're about to be blessed with, and you gonna get this and get that. People want to hear good. They want to hear them kind of things, but they don't want to hear when somebody's telling them, no, ma'am, now you got to sit down. You're gonna have to sit down for about at least 30 days. You got to sit down and listen to God. You got to hear the voice of God, because right now what you're doing is not of God. It's not in the will of God. And people get mad about things like that.
Match.
They get mad.
They be ticked off.
Yes, and they get mad. And guess what they say? Shh, when I leave out here, I am not coming back. They think I'm gonna come back, but I ain't coming back. That's it for me in this church right here, because they don't tell me what to do. I'm grown. Nobody don't tell me when to come or when not to come, or how to do this and how to do that, or how to be appropriate in church. We don't want to hear that kind of things. And when you're building ministry and you're starting from scratch, guess what? These are some things, some fundamental things that you're probably teaching to the people that are there. And guess what? Once you start teaching it to the people that are there, then because you are already teaching to the people that are there, then eventually when more people come, they'll be able to fall in line. But when things is just going however they want it, people just want it to go, then I expect all kind of things to happen. I expect all kind of situations to take place. It's a big difference when somebody's giving you a gift because you appreciate it, then you go in and steal it.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And the thing about it, we're in this society in an age where people don't want to take the time to learn. We remember on the movie The Matrix, when Neo gets folks work waking up out of the Matrix, and then they start teaching him what the Matrix is, and then he goes and sits in the chair, and they're downloading how to fight and different things to him. That's the way people want to get everything nowadays. We want to Google it. Mm-hmm. You just want to Google it. Oh, I know how to do it. You ain't never did it before. You just saw some tutorial on Google, and you swear up and down you know how to do a thing. But you really don't. Mm-hmm. Until you have the experience of doing a thing, you don't know how to do a thing. Right. And like I said, the topic of the difference between someone handing you a ministry and you actually building a ministry is just as different as us going to purchase a house today and Charles Ingalls and them having to find a spot of land and build a house. You understand what I'm saying? They know the intricate workings of the house. Mm. We don't know what's inside our walls most of the time. We don't know what's underneath the carpet or underneath the hardwood floors. We don't know what's going on in the foundation. This is why we got to call somebody else in to take a look at it, because we have no idea. But when you build a thing from the ground up, you have a different value of that thing. You have a different understanding of that thing. And I'm saying nothing's wrong with someone taking over a church if you've been slated and picked out to take over a church. But understand there are different types of churches. And when you're building a church from scratch, and I want to encourage those of you who might be starting out, your church. A lot of people start out and then they get discouraged because things don't go the way they imagine it to go, or people don't come rushing in the door as they imagine it. This is not Field of Dreams. It's not if you build it, they will come. That's not necessarily mean they come and just because you built it. You understand what I'm saying? This is why we got to make sure that we're in tune and in line with what God says to do. If God has prepared you to build something from scratch, then he's going to have everything you need inside of you already there to cultivate that thing and make it come to pass. Right. But if you're jumping out and jumping into a lane that you know nothing about because you see somebody else doing it and you think, oh, they make that look easy, I can do that too, well, you're going to fail. If that's your intention, if that's your motivation, then that's not going to be enough to sustain you when hard times come. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be enough to sustain you when the storms of life come, when hardships come and you have to go through those dark valleys and those deep depression times where things just ain't moving and shaking. Right. Things ain't nothing going and ain't nothing coming, and you in a standstill, but you still got to go through. And then understand that when you're building it, this is why we got to be so careful as to how we come down on other people and other ministries, because we don't know what God is taking them through or what God has told them to do. The only thing we can do is do what God has called us to do. At first, you got to be sure that God has called you to do a thing. Yeah, leadership looks very easy from the sidelines, but it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing to carry the burdens of other people. It's not an easy thing to carry the be responsible for other people's souls. Mm-hmm. It's not an easy thing. Though people might be doing it, that makes it look easy. That's because they have put in the time to learn how to do it. Right. how to be that person that they need to be and how to pour into other people. Just because you're charismatic, just because you're a very good speaker, just because you got people that love to hear you speak, don't mean you should be leading people.
Okay.
Just because you can sing really well and lots of people will come and pay money to see you sing doesn't mean you should be responsible for their souls.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We got to understand what it is that we're supposed to do and get in our lane, find our lane and get in it and be the best that we can possibly be in our lane. A lot of times our lane is dry because we're too busy looking at somebody else's lane,
Right.
desiring to be over there.
Right.
You can't sing a lick, but you want to be a singer. Find out what you can do and find out what God needs you to do and do what God needs you to do. Because a lot of times we are so busy looking on the other side and the grass looks so much greener. But when you get over there, it might have was green until you got there and then you made it turn brown. Like I say, well, it ain't green when I got over here because by the time you got over here, you brought a bunch of mess with you.
Right.
By the time you got over here, you brought some foolishness with you. You brought some baggage with you. So we got to understand. And everybody, just because everything, just like life, everything doesn't go at the same pace.
Mm.
Some animals have babies in 2-3 months, in a matter of weeks. Elephants carry babies for over a year. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to know that it's a difference in when it's time to bloom, when it's time for something to bloom. It might not be time for your ministry to bloom yet, but that don't mean you stop doing what you're supposed to be doing. It doesn't mean you put on the brakes or you quit. It means you just keep moving forward and let God give the increase. The word of God says one plant, one water, and God give the increase. If we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, the people will come when it's time for them to come. Mm-hmm. But first we have to show ourselves faithful and diligent in what we're doing.
And then, another thing that people have to realize and they have to understand is everybody ministry is not alike. I don't understand why people think that if you ain't doing it like how we do it over here, then you're wrong. If it's not done like this, then God didn't call you. That's not true, because God sent his people out. If that was the case, then why he need all them different chapters in the Bible written by different people?
Why you get 4 people? Yeah, exactly. You 4 people to witness the gospel, and then they all got to write about it. You could just pick what you would say, how we would do it. We pick, Luke, you do it. You the smart one. Okay. You the doctor. You go on and write it. Mark be like, I can write too. No, son, you too young. Go on, sit down. Let Luke do it.
Mm-hmm. And we have to understand that everybody's ministry is not going to run alike. What we might do over here, you might not be able to do it over there. And what you do over there, we might not be able to do it over here. However, God has given you your ministry or given you your vision for your ministry, then that's what you build on. That's how you build it. That's how you go forth. And let me tell you something. Everybody is not going to agree with it. And guess what? It's okay. It's not for everybody to agree with it. People still don't agree with the Bible. People still don't agree with the way that the Bible has been written. People have their own opinions about the Bible. So why do we think that people won't have an opinion about the way that you're running your own ministry?
And let me say this to help some of you out. Some of y'all don't need to be looking around too much.
Okay.
You know how when the horses got to pull a cart, they put the blinders on them.
Yeah.
Because the horse don't need to be looking all around, sightseeing, while it's supposed to be going from one destination to the next destination. Some of y'all need to put your spiritual blinders on. Stop scrolling. Stop looking. Stop peeping. Stop trying to see what so many people got going on in their sanctuary. Stop trying to see what they got in their little musician section. Stop trying to see what's going on with their chairs and what kind of chairs they got and what kind of this and that they got, so you can stay focused on what you need to be focused on. So you're not pulled to and fro in every direction. You got to understand that God has a mission and a vision that is yours. It's not to compare it to somebody else. It's not to see what somebody else got going on or see what somebody else is doing. We have to stay diligent and moving forward as we're supposed to be moving forward to making sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. If you ain't doing what God has called you to do, it doesn't matter how good you're doing it. If you ain't doing what God called you to do, it's just a matter of time before it falls apart.
Oh, yeah.
If you're trying to compare what you're supposed to be doing to somebody else, it ain't going to work like that.
Yeah, man.
It's not going to work. You have to have the guidance that God is giving you, and you have to have the confidence to know that this is what God has told me to do.
Yeah.
If I'm doing what God told me to do, I don't care what somebody thinks about it. I don't care how they feel. I don't care what their opinion is. It does not matter to me. If I did that, then I wouldn't be doing half the things that I'm doing because, people's opinions would slow me down.
Yeah.
It's a weight to try to wonder what mama think about it or what Pastor so-and-so think about it. Wonder what the prophet got to say about it. Man, if you've been giving directions from God, then follow the direction that God is giving you. Move forward and let God be God. Stop trying to wonder what everybody else is doing. If that person has been given a church and it's been established, they didn't have to go buy them chairs. They might have decorated. They might have changed some decoration. They might have painted it. That don't mean that you got to build yours up to compare to them. Stop comparing what you're doing to somebody who is already established. If you're trying to build it from scratch, then build it from scratch. You trying to worry about the decorations and you ain't even got the foundation laid.
Right.
You trying to worry about the chandeliers and you ain't ran the wires yet. You ain't did your plumbing yet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You have not established yourself in that way yet. We got to understand that we got to move in a way where it's productive and conducive to the way God has told us to move, not to what people are doing. What people are doing is irrelevant.
Right.
Are you doing what God has called you to do? Are you doing what God? Now, if somebody if you have walked in and been promoted up into a church to take over a church, then you still got to have a vision. You can't fall into a vision that somebody else has. You gotta figure out what is your vision. What vision did God give me for this church? Where am I taking it? Now they may have brought it this way this far. Now what's my job from this point forward to moving forward? Because you gotta understand that you're supposed to be moving the vision forward. What am I going to do to move the vision forward? You got to figure that out. You understand what I'm saying? If you're looking around trying to see what everybody else got going on in their sanctuaries, you're not going to get it done like that. You're not going to get it done.
And not only that, and I like the comment that Pastor Gillison put up. He said, "It will leave you discouraged if you're not careful," and that's the truth. Because a lot of times we will get discouraged if we're trying to hear everybody's opinion and everybody's input on how we're supposed to be doing a thing. If we're sitting back and we getting input from everybody's trying to give us their input and how they feel, and you should do it this way and do it that way. It's the other side of the curtain. Or you should handle it like this or handle it like that. Then guess what? We'll be so mixed up and confused that we feel like, man, I can't do this. I can't do this because if you're not hearing from God, if you're not taking his instructions and going by what God said, you're going to feel discouraged. Why? Because you're trying to please everybody. And there's no way on God's green earth we'll be able to please everybody. What we look like trying to please everybody? What if you got a ministry full of people? Let's say you got 2, 3, 4, 500 people in your church, but you're trying to please each and every one of them. You'll drive yourself crazy. Not only will you drive yourself crazy, you probably be in a mental institution somewhere because you're trying to do everything that God that they're telling you to do and not what God tells you to do. That's why we have to get our instructions and directions directly from God. We got to go before God and hear God for us, because our church colors is what? Red, purple, and blue, and that's the colors of the covenant. So that's our church colors, and people can come and be like, well, I don't think that this is good. I don't like these colors. Let's just go ahead and do. And then somebody else come and say, well, no, baby, we could just do it like this. And now we look like a bunch of mixed up people because every time somebody else comes in and give us their opinion on what we think or how they feel or how things should be done, now we trying to appease everybody. And it just doesn't work like that. And because it can be overwhelming and it will get overwhelming, guess what we do? Just like Pastor Gillison said, we'll get discouraged and we'll feel like, maybe God didn't call me. That'll be our next thing. You're like, well, maybe God ain't tell me to go out there and do this and go out there and do that. And that's not the case. We're just trying to do the wrong thing. We're trying to be Moses. And we listening to the people when we should be listening to God.
And the thing about it, you can't be scared to slow down. Because sometimes you be so excited about, what you think you should be doing that you're just going too fast. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you need to slow down, right, especially if you're trying to hear from God. You know what I'm saying? You try to run revival after revival that you ain't been led by God to do the revival or to invite those in people or doing the things that you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just got to slow down and hear from God and see what God wants me to do. Just because everybody running revival, that don't mean you're supposed to be running revivals. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you might need to slow down and focus on Bible study.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you need to slow down and focus on outreach or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just need to slow down.
Because the people need to be taught. Some people just need to be taught.
Then you got to make sure you're hearing from God. If I'm speeding around every place, I'm not hearing from God. I'm just trying to do what. Oh, I see they doing this over there. I'm gonna try that. This other church is doing this over here. I'm gonna try that. And sometimes you just, like I said, you got to slow down.
Yeah.
You got to slow down sometime and make sure you're hearing from God. Make sure you're doing what God has called you to do. And if you're not, if you're out here and you're a leader and I might make somebody mad. I don't care. If you're out here fishing on social media for suggestions on what to do,
oh Lord,
that to me, that's a flag. That's a flag on the field. That's a red flag. If God ain't giving me ideas and I'm soliciting ideas from the general public as a leader, me personally, when I was following, that's not the kind of leader I want to be under. If you getting your ideas from the collective, strangers, you know what I'm saying? Because what we doing in Charleston might be working beautifully. Mm-hmm. You do it in Virginia, it might not work right.
Right.
You take it out to Cali and do the exact same thing the exact same way, it might get you in some trouble. Mm-hmm. So that don't even make sense. You know what I'm saying? As a leader, I want to know that God is speaking to me.
Right.
I want to know that my relationship and my communication with God is clear enough that I hear his voice on the regular.
Yes.
And if I'm not hearing his voice on the regular, then I'm going to have to check myself.
Yeah.
See, you can't be too scared to want to check yourself. Mm-hmm. It's not about somebody calling you out, but it's about you calling you out.
Right.
It's about you checking yourself and saying, you know what? I ain't heard God's voice in a minute. I ain't feeling, the unction. What? The unction. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to feel some unction. I want to feel something down in my sanctified spirit. Mm-hmm. Or as my man say, Willie Moore Jr., I want to feel it in my shanana. So we need to make sure we're feeling something and hearing from God. And if you're not, slow down. Reevaluate. I don't care if I got to shut it all down for just a minute. We just gonna do Bible study and we're gonna chill for a minute because I need to hear from God. Yeah, if I got to go on a sabbatical, if it get that bad, I'm gonna be like, look, Charmaine, you're gonna have to hold things down for a minute. I'm gonna have to close, shut in, do my own little shut in. Mm-hmm. And I'm just gonna come out and eat, do what I gotta do. But I got to hear from God.
Right.
I got to hear from God. Because as the leader, we supposed to be hearing from God. Mm-hmm. It's a problem, men and women of God. If we are leading others, if people are following us and we're not hearing from God, Moses didn't have to go to the people and say, hey, what do y'all think? Well, which we should do? What do y'all think? Let me take a poll. All the heads of the family, y'all ask y'all people, y'all come up with something. We're going to bring it all to the table and figure it out. That's not how it works. That's not how this thing works. So please, I implore you, men, women of God, stop going on social media, making yourself look like you have no idea what you're doing. Because that's not a good look. It's not a good look for you. It's not a good look for the body of Christ. It's just not a good look.
And you know what I was thinking about the other day? I was like, it's like I would say this for me. I haven't been in a good church service yet, like how we've been back in the days where people just in there praising God and lifting up his name and crying out and they're falling out on the floor for real and getting saved for real. It's been a long time since we had church like they've been having it back in the days. You know what I mean? It's just been a long time since people have been having some real church. A lot of times it's like people just want to, okay, well, let's go in there and the praise team, y'all go ahead and sing a few songs and we're going to preach and we're going out of here.
But the thing is, it's a lot of people that I believe, because I see it, or was seeing it before, pandemic, where people are showing that portion of the church where, it's a lot of jumping and shouting and carrying on, going on, which is fine. That's a part of it. But to me, I'm looking for more of your life living. Mm-hmm. And I say that because for years, We've been in those services coming up. We've been in those services coming up through the years. But you know what? A lot of those people still weren't living crap. They weren't living life. They weren't living no real life. It wasn't really, really being who they were trying to portray themselves as being. They were not doing that. So to me, it's not even about that. I would like to see the move of God in the service. If it goes that way, that's fine. But what I'm looking to see is people living the life. Like the old folks used to say, you got to live the life. Because a lot of people are nowadays that I see a lot of churches where you see the bucking, the shouting, the falling out, but then when you hear about them in the streets and what's going on in their life, totally different story. So I want to see more life living. I want to see more miracles. I want to see more blind eyes open. I want to see more people coming to the church. I want to see more outreach. Forget getting in the building and jumping around and having a good time in the building. Let's see some real outreach. Let's see some helping of some people. Let's start going out and being accessible to the public. Because I don't want to go back to the fashion show church and we falling out and slobbering and all that stuff. But then we get up, we fix ourselves, we get ourselves together, we tuck our shirt in, we fix our hat, and we go right back to living the way we've been living. Or we go right back to the house where the boyfriend or the girlfriend's still at the house. Or we go right back on the phone calling somebody's husband or somebody's wife that we ain't got no business calling.
But also, even when you say that, it's still kind of what I just said. It's like back in the days and when miracles would happen and people were getting delivered and set free. That's what I'm talking about when people were going to church and living, like how they're supposed to be living. Now, we can't say this is what everybody's doing or go back and say, well, they ain't living nothing. So we got to understand that there are still some people who are standing on, the word of God and who are living for God for real and going and they having an awesome time and a phenomenal time in the house of God. And people are feeling what they need to feel. And there are some people out there who are living a right life. So, even if there are one or two people that are messing up or one or two people that might, come in church and fall out and different things and then go back and live a lifestyle that they shouldn't be living, we don't want to lump it in and make it seem like, well, we just don't need to see that or that don't need to be done. No, we can't do that because remember, at some point, they'll get what they need. They'll get their deliverance and breakthrough because the Bible tells us that the wheat and tear has to grow together. So while the wheat and tear is growing together, even if the wheat and the tear, they're doing things a little differently, they still got to grow together. And eventually they'll all become one. So even if they are doing something that they ain't got no business doing after church dismissed, that's totally up to them. But we don't want to have it where we feel like, okay, well, we don't need to do that. Now, I totally agree with the part of not broadcasting or going live with the praise and worship and the people shouting and dancing across the floor because, people would turn that on and be like, what is going on here? Is they having a seizure? What's going on here? I don't feel like that part of church should be broadcast at all, but at the same time, we still want to let people know that, man, God is good. He's an awesome God, phenomenal God. And when I say praise and worship, down necessarily mean just the singing. It just mean, with all the shouting and dancing and running back and forth across the floor, just some things that should not be recorded.
Yeah, because like I said, when it comes to those things, that's your personal interaction with God. And I don't feel like that needs to be broadcast. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times if you're in the spirit, you're not really in control of yourself in that moment. And I don't think it'd be right to show somebody in the midst of something very personal, personal experience that they're experiencing with God. I don't want to see that of myself. I don't want to see that over and over again. Right. Or I don't want to become somebody's meme. Right. Like a lot of church services have taken memes of people shouting and praising and stuff like that. I don't want to become somebody's meme. You know what I'm saying? For what? I was having a one-on-one experience with God. Though I might have been in a public setting, mm-hmm. I was having a personal experience with God. And we got to be respectful of people's personal experiences with God.
That's private.
That's a private thing. But at the end of the day, it's about your life living. You know what I'm saying? The word of God says one plant, one water, and God give the increase. So I take my planting and watering very
Oh
seriously.
yeah.
It's why I don't play around when it's time for me to give a word or to minister to somebody. I don't take that lightly. Even when it's time for me to turn on these cameras and these microphones, it's a responsibility that I have, and I know what I'm doing each time I do it. I don't get on here because I'm bored. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's why I'm glad I don't just do it randomly, just pick the phone up and start talking randomly, because that'll you get into a habit like that, you'll do it, and you'll do it so nonchalantly you'll forget the seriousness of doing
Right.
it.
Right.
And I think the fact that when we do it, we set it up to do it, and because you go through that's a lot of effort that we put forth before we even turn anything on, and that puts you in a frame of mind understanding that I'm doing something serious,
Right.
that I'm not just, well, I got a minute, let me just go on here and say some stuff. I got something I want to say.
And then put your cash app up
You know what I'm
after you
saying?
did it.
That, to me, that's kind of crazy. I take, and I guess maybe it's just because I've been in broadcasting so long that I just take the broadcasting seriously. And
Mhm.
anytime you turn that phone on, you're linked into the World Wide Web. You're broadcasting,
Yeah.
and you got to take that seriously, because there is a certain amount of responsibility you carry. They can bring you into court. Something go wrong, they can bring you into court and
Mhm.
try you on your
Yeah.
broadcast. This is what you put out there. This is what you said. If somebody follows some instructions or do something that you said, you might as well have pulled the trigger or whatever the case may
Really?
be, and they can charge you for that. You understand what I'm saying? This is how serious broadcasting is. So we got to take this way more seriously than what we're doing. Yeah, you can have fun with it, but understand what you're doing each time you do it.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes some of us, to be honest, some of us don't need to be doing it so willy nilly. Some
Mhm.
of us need to put some more thought into what we're doing, when we're doing it, and how we're doing it.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I seen on Kevin Hart special. He when the thing happened with him, and he ain't even got out the bed. He just went on Twitter
Mhm.
and started tweeting
Went ranting.
and
He was
just going
ranting.
to a rant. And you just waking up. You ain't really thought about that.
Right.
Then you spend the next couple of years
Trying to fix it.
apologizing over and
Yep.
over
Trying to
and
fix it.
over about something you did without even thinking. We got to put more thought into it. And if I got to put more thought into my broadcast, of course I got to put thought into my ministry. If I'm doing ministry, I have to put thought into it. I just can't jump out there and say, okay, let's do this then. Nope, that ain't work. Okay, let's do that.
Right.
You don't want it. That's a bad look. That's a bad look. I love the fact that Facebook brings up memories, because sometimes you don't realize how long you've been doing a thing until you see it pop up on Facebook. You be
Mhm.
like, wow,
You don't know how you had looked
we've
back
been
then.
doing that for a minute. We've been doing this for a minute. But it's good to see that you have some consistency when it comes to ministry. It's good to
Mhm.
see that we have been doing this a while, because we don't think about it on a daily basis. We don't think about, man, we doing this again, or we doing this a long time. We're just doing what God has called us to do. And I'm trying to tell you, if you get into the swing of doing things that God has called you to do, it's not even about a time frame.
Mhm.
It's just about being in God's will. And I love being in God's will. I love the feeling I get when I know I'm doing what God has called me to do. Every
Right.
time I set this little studio up and turn these cameras on, I know I'm doing what God has told me to do. And everything that I got to do this is like it fell into my lap. It was found at the perfect price at the right time. Everything that we needed, God provides for us to be able to do this. And if He'll do this for us in this small little realm, why wouldn't He do it for us when it comes to the ministry as a whole? Why wouldn't He do it for you when it comes to your ministry? When it comes to your life, He'll do it. But you got to be in His will. And the more we get in His will, and that's not about being perfect, it's about being in God's will. And in the will, yeah, we might stumble, we might make a mistake, but stay in the will of
Yeah.
God. Keep moving forward in the will of God, and God is going to do what you need Him to do when you need Him to do it, regardless of what people think or say. It doesn't even matter. Even people who talked against us
Yeah.
back in the days support us verbally now. They might say something different behind closed doors,
Okay.
but I'm like Joe Clark. Whatever they saying it
Yes, it
outside.
outside.
They ain't saying it in here. They ain't getting in my chats. They ain't coming up in my pages. They ain't. You know what I'm saying? I don't. My circle I cleaned out a long time ago. Some of you really need to clean out your circle.
Me too.
Some of you need to do some spring cleaning on
Mhm.
your circle and get some of them haters and all those naysayers and all those negative people out of your circle.
And then you won't be so concerned about them.
Right. It doesn't matter what they say if they saying it outside. I ain't worried about people blowing horns outside my door, because if they want to talk to me, they're gonna come knock on my door. I'm assuming when I hear a horn on the thing, oh, that must be for them next door.
Okay.
Because I don't answer to the blow horns. I don't go swing my door because I hear a horn blowing.
Yes.
I don't do that. You got to come knock. That's the way I was raised. And you can be outside there, blow, 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 blow. We won't move. Do you come out y'all don't hear me blowing? Oh, I heard some blowing, but you ain't been blowing for me.
No, sir.
Because you don't blow and I come running to the door. Me and my children, none of us don't go running to no door for no horn blowing. When we know we got somebody coming for us, we expect them to come, knock on the door, I'm outside, or text me or something. But just sitting out there blowing the horn, we don't do that.
No.
We don't do that. So what I'm trying to say to you is that if you understand that you have to know who you are and know where you're going in order to be effective in ministry. If you're still trying to get the approval of man, then you're in trouble.
You're in a lot of trouble.
If you're still trying to get ideas and thoughts and direction from man, you're going to be in trouble. We were just talking about a ministry, in a couple ministry that we know that is no longer around here. And I made a statement about instability. People, like a lot of times, people now want to pop up and want their ministry to just pop. As soon as they put the sign on and turn the light on, they're expecting just people to come around.
Overflow people.
That's not the way ministry works. You got to put your time in.
You got to.
And the ones that I have seen that work even similar to that, they ain't doing too well. And most of them ain't even last. Because it'd be so much going on, because so many spirits coming so quick, you don't even know how to handle them.
Yep.
You don't even know how to deal with them. And if you're new to pastoring, if you're new to leadership, man, it takes something.
It does.
It takes something. It's not as easy as it looks. Even for me, being in broadcasting as long as I have, it's still not easy as it looks to just turn on a microphone or turn on camera and go. It took years for me to get to the broadcasting level that I'm at. It took experience. It took a lot of embarrassment.
Yeah.
It took a lot of stumbling, a lot of people correcting me, a lot of people critiquing me, and helping me to develop myself, taking not only criticism, but taking teaching in order to better myself. If you ain't even willing to do that, man, stop. Just turn the mic off, turn the camera off, and go find something else to do.
And what we have to realize is that's how you grow. That's how you become, better at what you're doing. You have to take some kind of help. You have to go out there. I could preach just like that. Or I could teach. And so they go out there and they do it. And then when people come and they try to help them along the way or assist them or come with some constructive criticism, now they're mad about it. And they'll go off on you. And guess what they do? They'll break fellowship with you. They'll quit. We learn how to grow. This is how we learn how to be able to stand strong. Because if you can't take teaching, if you can't take correction, if you can't take chastisement, you're not going to be able to stand. You're not going to be able to stand long. You probably get up there for a little while, but your legs are still going to be shaky because you're unstable. And the minute somebody tries to come in and help you or anything like that, you're going to feel attacked. You're going to feel like, oh, they're trying to tell me how to run my ministry. No, some people genuinely just want to help you. Some people genuinely want to see you make it. Everybody is not your hater. Everybody's not hating on you and your ministry because you're doing this and everybody's not hating. But there are some people that have a knowledge in different things that's able to help you. That's just like if I wanted to learn right now how to cut hair. I'm not out there and just go buy me some clippers, and I'm not going to go and buy me a little chair, get me a little chair. I can just, fold in chair and get me a towel and wrap it around the people and just start cutting. If I don't really know what I'm doing, guess what I'm going to say? I'm going to call him. I'm going to say, hey, can you teach me how to hold the clippers? Can you teach me how I'm supposed to do this or how I'm supposed to do that? And then if he see you, if you don't ask him and they're looking at you like, oh, man, you're doing that. I can teach you some things. Except that, how hard is that, Derek? How hard is that to accept the help. Sometimes people just really want to help you and see you do better. Some people are genuinely concerned about the work that you're doing and they want to push you. They want to see you come up. Everybody ain't trying to be a crab in a bucket. Everybody ain't trying to tear you down. Everybody ain't trying to make sure that you're losing. There are some people out here who just really want to see you win. If you got people out there that is coming to you and trying to help you and like it's like I can't remember what ministry was on the other day, and they tagged me in their live video. And when they went live, they must have turned the camera right while they was recording. So now when they turn the camera, everything is sideways. And so I at first I was like, oh Lord, should I tell them, the correct way to do it? Not like I'm a professional, but I do know that when you're about to go live, before you hit go live, go ahead and turn your camera to the side. So I message them and I tell them, I say, I hope I'm not stepping on your toes or anything, but I just wanted to give you this input real quickly because I see that you're live, but everything is sideways. And so when the people looking at it, it's like you gotta say, and I don't want to look at your live with my head to the side. So I said, when people are seeing it, what we see on the other side, you probably don't see. And what we see is everything is sideways. And if you're going to go live, all you have to do is turn your camera sideways first and then hit the go live button. You know what they said in return? Thank you. And guess what? They must have cut it off and turn it back on, and they must have turned their camera the right way. It don't take nothing. I don't. You think I was sitting back and laughing at them because like, oh, they dumb. They dumb. They don't know what they're doing. Look at them. Look at them. Look at them. No, I want to make sure that hey, everybody was having church in their house, or people was just a lot of people having church home and different things like that, and they probably didn't know because they wasn't used to going live and different things like that. So why would I not want to be my brother's keeper? Why would I not want to be my sister's keeper?
Amen.
That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to, if you see somebody messing up or going astray, why would I allow you to just run in front of a car? When I see the car coming, I'm gonna sit back, and then when you get hit, then I'm gonna say, that's what they get. They should have been. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna say that. That's not even my character. I'm not even that kind of person. But this is the kind of things that we have to understand, that when it comes to trying to build ministry, and it's going to be somebody that's going to want to help you, that's going to want to see you win, that's going to want to see you come out victorious. Just because you're getting corrected or you're being taught something, that doesn't mean that somebody thinks you're stupid, or that don't mean that somebody thinks you're illiterate. That don't mean that somebody thinks that you cannot comprehend. That don't mean that somebody thinks that you don't know what you're doing. That just means that there is somebody that genuinely cares and wants to help you build your ministry up the right way. It just means that just because I come to you and I say, man, you can't say all this. You are a man of God, man. You can't post all them kind of thing on your page, man. People looking at you different. You a man of God. You can't say all kind of thing like that, man. First of all, it don't look good because people gonna be looking at you sideways. Then when you come back and you having a wonderful day, and now you want to post all these wonderful things, people are looking at you like, man, please, you just as wishy-washy, you unstable, you are here along the way. Accept the help.
Amen. And be weary of people that just want to encourage you to shut your ministry down. That to me, that's kind of odd. If God told you to do a thing, you do a thing, regardless of what people say. You know what I'm saying? Unless God tell you to shut it down, I'm the type, I'm not gonna listen to man first. I hear you, I hear you out. But if God didn't tell me specifically to do a thing, I'm not gonna do it because you said so.
Okay.
See, because one thing I've learned over the years, being saved over 20-some years, that when prophecy comes to confirm what God has already said to you. If it's the first time you hearing it out of somebody else's mouth and you ain't even heard it deep down in your spirit, usually that ain't God. God gonna talk to the person first. When God spoke to anybody in the Bible, he came and spoke to them, and then somebody else said something to confirm what God was. Oh, yeah, I know, now I know. Now get it right.
Right.
So we got to understand that we got to make sure that we in the will of God all the way around, not sort of, kind of, but all the way in the word of God. Anyway, just letting you guys know that this is an interactive talk show. We thank God for the comments that have been said thus far. We still got plenty of show to go. So the lines are open. 843-648-1239. If you want to comment, if you want to
Call on in.
call us and be a part of the show. If you got something that's burning and you just don't feel like typing that much, we will open the phone lines and let you have your say.
Yep.
So you can give us a call. 843-648-1239 is the number to call in. We are live on YouTube. We are also live on Facebook right now. So you can check us out. If you can't get us on Facebook, you can slide on over to YouTube. I do need you guys that are rocking with us to make sure you go on your YouTube channel and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're trying to get our subscription numbers up. So go to YouTube, subscribe to YouTube. Even if you like Facebook better, even on YouTube, it works the same way. It's pretty much the same thing. You can go over there. You can put your comments up on YouTube as well. We'll see them either way, YouTube or Facebook. Don't forget to download the app from Exquisite Internet Radio. It's an ERR app. Go to your app store today. Download the app. You can catch this. If you didn't catch the show from the beginning and you want to catch some of the beginning of it, you can catch it on next week. It'll be playing on EIR. That's Exquisite Internet Radio from 6 to 8 p.m. Same time frame from 6 to 8 p.m. You can check it out. The replay of this show will be next Saturday.
We have 2 different topics today.
Yeah. When we get into our second hour, we're going to switch gears and go into another topic. So if you want to comment on this topic, you got just a few more minutes to do that, about 5 or 6 more minutes to get in on this topic. If you want to throw up a comment or if you want to give us a call, 843-648-1239. We want you guys to make sure you are sharing the video, inviting people to be a part of the conversation. You need to get in on the conversation. So come on and holler at us. Let us know what you think about ministry. We got some ministers that are on with us. So, hey, the floor is open. If you got something you want to say, you are more than welcome to say it. Put your little 2 cents in, even if you ain't a minister, even if you ain't been to church in a while, and you got something you want to say, come on and let us know what you want to say. Say it with your chest and let us know. Just put it on up there, and we will definitely talk about it. This is Love, Marriage, and Ministry. We do this every first and third Saturday of the month live on social media. We are a social media talk show. We're not here just to talk at you. It's a talk show that you can jump in on and put your comments on. Definitely. We thank God for those of you that are all over the country that are popping in. I see my classmate Reginald Wilson coming on in out there in Virginia. We appreciate you coming through. We appreciate each and every one of you that are coming in. Make sure you guys put up your comments. If you have comments, if you have questions, we'll answer the question. If you got a question that got nothing to do with what we're talking about, you can put it up. We'll talk about that too. It's an open floor, open forum, open conversation. It's a platform for good conversation from us to you. Love, marriage, and ministry. We're talking about everything. We're gonna take a break here in a little bit. Take our hourly break. Now, when we come back after the break, we're gonna switch gears and talk about our second topic. We're doing a double topic on today.
What's the second topic?
You know it. Tell them.
You forgot. That's what it is.
Tell them.
Our second topic is how do you build trust back in your relationship once the trust has been broken? That's our second topic that we're going to talk about. But we're still talking about building ministry and different things right now. After the break, we'll be talking about the trust.
We have a twofer. Two for one. It's a twofer. We're having a twofer. It's a double topic. We're talking about ministry and marriage tonight.
Yeah.
All right? Ministry and marriage are our topics tonight. So
and love.
Love is in there. So we covering the full gambit tonight. Double topic. I'm putting that up on the thing. Double topic tonight.
But like we were already saying, it takes work when it comes to building ministry. You know what I mean? You can't just go out there and think that just because you open up a ministry or you starting a ministry, that everybody is going to be out there to just sow into your ministry and give you this and give you that and make sure you have this. There are going to be some people that are going to, want to bless you and help you and make sure that you're out there doing good. But when we started ministry, all them people who we was, was following us and different things like that before we open up our church, them people may not come with you. They may not want to come and be a part of your ministry, and it's okay. We don't have to treat people differently or make people feel like, oh, I thought you was going to be with me and different. You can, how you make it, when you force somebody to do something.
Make them feel guilty.
Yeah, you can't guilt nobody to your ministry. Don't try to guilt people to your church, because guess what? They're not going to stay.
What's the second topic?
How to build trust or have trust back in your marriage once the trust has been broken, or how to rebuild trust.
Regain trust.
Yeah. But you can't guilt people into your ministry, just because you might have helped somebody along the way, just because you might have helped somebody get from one point to another, or help somebody cross a bridge. That doesn't mean that they're going to come and be a part of your ministry. Just because I might have seen you going through some things, and I turn around and I witness to you, and I help you along the way, with the help of God, and I minister to you. That doesn't mean that you're coming to be a part of my ministry. So we have to understand that just go out there and do what God has told you to do. Because the word of God says one plant, one water, and God's going to do the increase. And we have to understand where we at or what we're doing. Whether you're planting or watering, just go plant or go and water. It's not for us to give the increase. It ain't for us to even give the increase in our ministry. All we do is go out there and plant or water. And that's it. And God will do the rest. We can't get so caught up with trying to make people join in with us, or make people join our ministry, or make people come to our church. No, what we can do, but let me put this in there real quick. What we do need to do is invite people to church. It's time out now for people sitting around like they so shy and so afraid to talk to people, or invite them to church. I ain't gonna be afraid to invite people to church. You know why? Because I'm living the life where I want people to come and see the kind of God that I serve. I want people to know who is this person that has been blessing me beyond measures. I want people to know who this is that wakes me up every day. I want people to know who it is, But if you're unsure about your own life living, you're probably not going to invite people to church. You're probably not even going to ask people to say, hey, man, we having such and such, or like us, like how we have Fifth Sunday services. If I was unsure about my life living, we're still inviting people. If I was unsure about my life living,
people, and you talking about I'm inviting too much people.
If I was unsure about my life living, I'd be like, I ain't inviting nobody to no Fifth Sunday, because I ain't really gonna be in the church, and I really want nobody. I don't want nobody to see how I am. But guess what? We got to go and open our mouth, because guess what? If I go out and I invite 5 people to church, and they come and they turn around and invite 5 more people, that's 10 more people in your church.
I think it's harder to get people to come when you ain't really involved in your church. You know what I'm saying?
You ain't sure.
You ain't really. You don't feel like it's your church.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You invite people to your house because you feel like you confident that your house is clean. People can come on in. But when you ain't sure about your little church family and what's going on over there, yeah, you might be a little hesitant. But we gotta definitely, I don't know, man. You just gotta have a relationship with God. I can't really say, because if your church is shaky, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You might need to find a new church.
Right.
Maybe you need to find a church you can feel a little bit better about.
Right.
And then you might be more inclined to invite somebody. I don't know. You gotta love your church, man. You gotta have some church love. You gotta have love for God. And if you're practicing what you preach and you're living the life as you should, it's gonna be hard not to talk about it. It'll be hard not to invite somebody. It's like when I see a good movie. It's hard not to talk about it.
Right.
I got so much going on with the church and with the ministry and things we got going on. It's hard not to talk about it. Because it's a lot going on. We do a lot. We always got something going on. We got programs. I'm always working on something. Somebody asks me what I'm doing, and I tell them what I'm doing. 9 out of 10, I'm doing something got something to do with God.
Okay.
So something to do with the blessings of God. Even working from home, I can't help but to talk about God, because it was God that gave me the blessing to go out, get the job, and then they let me come back home and do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't know.
Moon got a long little comment on here.
Who that?
Let me read Youth Minister Moon comment. Click your little comment there. Youth Minister Moon said,
water before you start?
From what I caught on to, ministry comes from what God has brought you through. How exactly can you minister from a place where you lack knowledge and experience from? So much has been discovered from the time of Jesus to our present, even down to terms being used in church. Understanding is what each individual needs on this walk. to understand yourself, each individual in your family, understand your spouse, understand those that labor with you, and understanding the reason we as the body of Christ suffer, because your life isn't just for you. Your existence could even be so simply existing because of the souls that will and are watching your every move. How will she or he handle this setback? How can I approach him or her about this topic? Will they react like the other Christians? How can we be effective if our life isn't affecting? That's true.
Mm.
Understand your flaws and mistakes. Learn to live above those base desires to react the same, respond the same. If not, then what do you claim the name of Jesus for?
Mm. Drop the mic, brother.
Mm.
Don't drop your phone. Just drop the mic. Hey, on that, we're going to take our break. We're going to take our break. When we come back, we're shifting gears in the next hour.
Come
We're
back
going to
for
get
our
into
second
our,
topic, guys.
our part two. Our second topic, we're going to be talking about restoring trust after the break.
I'm going to play the commercials. Watch.
We're going to see how that goes. Anyway, let me get this back.
Yes, get the commercials ready so I can play them.
We've been too held back on this earth, like we're two gangs trying to fight and lost the time. When all we really need to do is listen to each other's views on things, cause that's the only way to maintain good love, good love. Sometimes we get stuck on our own love.
Yeah, bring it all the way down. Take that over at the same. All the way over. All the way over.
Are you new to the Charleston area? Or have you been here a while but still haven't found a reliable barber? Well, look no further than the new Upscale Unlimited Family Grooming Incorporated. 843-263-9358. Text today with professional services and A-plus hospitality. You will always leave Upscale Unlimited feeling and looking your best. With an atmosphere as comfortable as your own home, you can relax and unwind as the professional and licensed haircut specialist gives you the style and cut to suit your individual and specific style. Find us on Facebook as you search Upscale Unlimited Family Grooming Incorporated, located 4303 Bream Road, Unit 47. You can even book your next appointment directly from the Facebook page and receive a special discount. Upscale Unlimited, the name speaks for itself.
Sometimes you really need to clean, but you just don't have time. So next time, call the professionals of Squeaky Cleaner. Whether it's a light touch-up or a deep cleaning, the professional care and concern of Squeaky Cleaner cannot be beat. Call 843-263-9379 for your free estimate today. It could be one room or the entire house. No job is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, and church cleanings are available. If you're the type of person that knows that cleaning has to be done right, then you're the type of person that needs to call Squeaky Cleaner. Call 843-263-9379. That's 843-263-9379. Squeaky Cleaner. You live life and we'll clean it.
Do you have an event that you're planning and you need a DJ that knows how to keep the party going? A DJ that has great music selection and knows how to keep the flow? Well, look no further because Do It All Productions is here. Do It All Productions professional DJ service of the Low Country can provide your event with the music and style you desire. Whether it's a wedding, a prom, a birthday, a family reunion, or even a church event, we provide music of all genres, from gospel to pop and everything in between as long as it's clean. From country to classic, from soul to jazz, we provide the music that will make your next event unforgettable. Do It All Productions professional DJ services of the Low Country Ministry covers all of Savannah, Beaufort, and Charleston and all surrounding areas. Call today to book your next event by texting 912-312-7240 or 843-263-9358. When you call, ask about our additional service like event photography, videography, MC service, and event planning. Do It All Productions, professional DJ service of the local. You make the call and take one more thing off your list.
We all know about the growing threat of antimicrobial resistance and have seen the headlines about superbugs and nightmare bacteria. Unfortunately, this threat is very real. Now more than ever, it's critical that we work together to contain these drug-resistant pathogens and the infections they cause. Keeping our hands clean is one of the most important ways to prevent the spread of infections. Every time we enter the patient zone, we can get dangerous germs on our hands and spread them to ourselves or to other patients. Sometimes we don't clean our hands as often as we should, not because we mean to do harm, but because it's a daunting task. Some of us might have to do it 100 times a day. It takes dedication, mindfulness, and time. Our patients' lives depend on it. Let's applaud the efforts and improvements we've already made. Increases in hand hygiene adherence have led to decreases in healthcare-associated infections. At the same time, we know there is still room for improvement. We can all do better. Our clean hands count. Now, more than ever.
Women from all backgrounds, ages, and walks of life are choosing to live an empowered and purposeful life through Legal Shield. We are the ladies of justice, and we are mothers, sisters, career women, stay-at-home moms, and retirees just like you. Join our community and join our mission to empower and protect. Get ready to be your own boss and financial opportunity you've been looking for. Help others become empowered and protected through Legal Shield and ID Shield. You can sell on your own or lead your own team. Our mission is to help improve lives with our services and to provide women the opportunity and environment to build their belief and confidence, step into their greatness and power, control their lives, create choices, and live a purposeful life. Ladies of justice, women engaged, enlightened, and empowered.
For more information, call Catherine Nelson at 803-622-9942 or Robin Nazon at 843-471-6056.
Women
Ups and downs. Ups and downs. We've been together, seemed like forever, and I wanna spend another lifetime. Cause it don't get much better, don't care about the weather. Oh, as long as I'm with you, I'm safe and warm. I'm happy that I'll spend the rest of my life with you. It ain't been easy, but we make it through other. It ain't been perfect, but we're both. And I love you more after a while. Life ain't perfect, but we're both. And I love you more after every month. So come on, dance with me, baby. Just wrap your arms around me, baby. Hold on tight like the first time I met you. Oh, since that day, been right beside you. You showed me, baby, you were better. So honey, I'ma ride into the sunset with you. Oh, and I'll spend the rest of my life with you. It ain't been easy, but we'll make it through all that. It ain't been perfect, but we're both. And I love you more after that. Life is perfect, but we're both. And I love you more after everyone. You got a love that can conquer anything. You are the melody that makes my heart sing. I've been every word, that's why you rock my last name. I swear that I love you. It ain't been easy, but we make it through our lives. It ain't been perfect, but we're both here right now. And I love you more after the day. Life ain't perfect, but we're both. And I love you more after everyone. And I love you more after everyone. I'm in every word, that's why you're up my last name. I swear that I love you.
Amen. We are back in effect. It's Love, Marriage, and Ministry, social media talk show for all to enjoy and all to get in on. Remember, phone lines are open. 843-648-1239 to get your comments in. We are shifting gears in the second half, going into another topic. It's a double topic on tonight. Last hour, we talked about ministry, starting ministry from scratch versus being handed a ministry. In this hour, we're going into the marriage relationship part of the show. And we're going to let Miss Moon take it from here.
What I'm doing? What am I going to be doing?
You're going to stop farting. You can
Okay. Well, the second part of what we're talking about now is, like we said, we're done with building ministry from scratch and or ministry being headed to. But now our question is, how do and this question, we want feedback. We want people to come on and answer, because we know a lot about this particular topic. We're not going to go into specific details, but we know enough about building trust back in a relationship once the trust has been broken. And so we want everybody to give us some input, or give the other people that are watching or that may watch it later some input on how to build trust back in your marriage once the trust has been broken. And what I do know is, I've been told by some other women. If, in case you don't know, I have a women's group, and I will be so glad when we can go back to having it. But I have a women's group, and I've heard from some people that once the trust has been broken, they don't see how it can be mended or how it can be repaired. And some people think that once trust has been broken, that's it, the relationship is over and done with. But let me tell you something. When trust has been broken in your relationship, guess what? If you really want to be with that individual, or you really want to be with that person, you're going to work and do whatever it's going to take to build a trust. Now, let me tell you something. It's not going to be an easy thing. It's not going to be an overnight thing. It's not going to take like a couple of months to get it done. It's a process, because when you get into a relationship with someone, you're feeling like, oh man, I love this person. I could tell them anything. I trust this person with deep secrets that I wouldn't tell anybody else, or I trust this person enough to do this and do that. And you build yourself up to be connected to that individual. And once they break it or it's destroyed, I don't even say destroyed, but once it's broken, it's a little difficult to just get right back to how things were. And no one should ever expect you to get back to how things were. And you have to be compassionate enough with the individual that has been hurt. You have to have some kind of compassion. You have to have some kind of empathy or sympathy. You got to have some kind of emotion. But when somebody is just motionless and like, oh, well, you got to get over it, it makes it even harder. And if somebody tells you or gives you that attitude like, oh, well, I mess up, just get over it. That's a person, to me, that's like, They don't really care. They don't really care about how you feel, or they don't really care about your emotions. That, to me, that's not true love. Because when you really love somebody, let me tell you something, you're going to go through the tests and the trials in that relationship. You're going to go through those ups and downs. You're going to go through those hard things that people are looking at you like, oh, no, I wouldn't do it. If it was me, I wouldn't do it. If it was me, I wouldn't put up with it. If it was me, I wouldn't go through that. But we never know what we would do when we get into that kind of situation. So when it comes to having your trust in an individual, and then the trust is broken, it's like a part of you has been ripped out. But let me tell you something. If something has been broken, it can be repaired. When something has been broken, it can be fixed. And then you have to understand that when something has been broken, such as a trust in a marriage, it's going to take a minute for that thing to heal. We can't just sit back and feel like, oh well, I don't see why you so hurt about it. Or I don't see why it's bothering you like this, or I don't see why you taking it to heart like that. You cannot have that kind of attitude, or even those kind of conversations with somebody that has been going through some difficult situation. Because let me tell you something, from a female point of view, and I'm sure Derek's going to talk from the male point of view, but from a female point of view, let me tell you something. When it comes to breaking a trust in relationship, let me tell you, it takes a whole lot for us to go back to trusting you as a spouse, whether it's the female or the male. It takes a whole lot for us to go back to trusting you. You're gonna have those days where you feel like you're gonna call and be like, where you at? Who you at? Or who all with you? Who all been around with you? Or who you on the phone with? Who you texting? Who you calling? It comes to that point because your trust has been broken. So the comfort level that you felt before the trust has been broken, that it's not like how it used to be. And you at a point where you feel like, no, I ain't even comfortable like that for you to be going this place or going that place, or for you to just be doing this and doing that. The comfort level, it has been shaken. And so we have to understand that, baby, trust, when it's broken, let me tell you something, that thing hurt. That thing, it'll make you feel you've just been destroyed, and there's no return, and there's no coming back from that situation. But you can come back. I've had an experience where I had to be able to come back, that I had to be able to get back in and be like, okay, I can't just be like, oh Lord, you did that, you said that. Because guess what, nobody's perfect. Everybody messes up at some point, whether in their relationship or their life. Some people just mess up and they make mistakes. It's a difference between making a mistake and you getting up from that mistake, or you making a mistake and you continue in that same pattern, or you continue making the exact same mistake, or you continue to just mess up. It's a big difference.
And brother went deep in.
Go ahead. What Pastor Johnson said, we all must take in consideration that we break our Father Jesus' trust every day, and he still loves us through our flaws, and we must mirror Christ in all we do. Amen. That is so true.
That's true.
Because we do get to the point where we break our trust, because God is trusting us to do the right thing. He's trusting us to love on his people and different things like that, and do right by him. And guess what? We mess up with him daily. So there's no individual that's bigger than God. You have to understand that when it comes down to your relationship and your marriage, you gonna go through some ups and some downs, some tests and some trials. You're gonna face some things that's like, ain't no way I'm gonna stay in this marriage. If you just want to quit and give up at the sign of any kind of obstacles, then you're never going to make it in a marriage. Why? Because you got to deal with you. You got to deal with whatever is going on within you first, instead of you trying to deal with what's going on in your partner.
What I always tell people is that once, and I like what I heard Pastor say when she said, if it's broken, then it can be fixed. So if you using the word broken, then you're implying that it can be fixed, but you have to want to fix it. That's just the bottom line. Easy to fix. If only one person wants to fix it and the other one, sometimes we just ain't sure. Right. Especially when the wound is fresh. We ain't sure. But you got to make a decision. Either you want to fix it or you don't.
Right.
And if you want to fix it, then it's going to take both of you to work on it. Because I can promise you this, regardless of what you think, regardless of what you tell yourself, it took two of y'all to break it.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody want to hear that. But it took two of y'all to break it. Somebody saying, no, they did this to me, they did that to me. Trust me, if you sit down and talk to somebody, you'll find out it took two of y'all to break it. Because somewhere before the break happened, something else had happened. Something else was going on within the relationship before it actually fell apart. You understand what I'm saying? So whether it be communication got mixed up, or we stopped making love like we used to, we stopped going out like we used to, whatever we used to do when we was all lovey-dovey, we stopped doing. And then the enemy creeps in. And before you know it, somebody slips up. Sometimes it's the male, sometimes it's the female. To be honest, it really don't even matter who did it.
Right.
It was y'all's relationship, and it was on y'all to keep it together, especially if it's a marriage. It was y'all that got married. No one person was standing to that altar. It was two people standing to the altar. So it was two people taking the vow.
Yep.
And it was two people who should have been working to keep those vows. Sometimes in the midst of it all, we get so complacent with the way things are, and we get so complacent with things. We get so complacent with not saying what's on our mind, or not sharing our feelings, or not sharing our frustrations with each other, that we allow the enemy to come in. Then now you're at your job, or at your mama house, or somewhere out with your girls, and you're sharing your feelings, your emotions with someone else rather than with your significant other. And here we go. That's the beginning of the problem.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We like to look at the problem, but if you look behind the problem, there's a trail that got us here. You understand what I'm saying? When they built the house, they had to find the land first. Then they had to scout it out. I remember when they were building the 24-hour Walmart in Beaufort, it was some woods on the side of where the old Walmart was.
Yeah, man.
But there was a little path going into those woods. And they were using that little path to get into those woods. You couldn't see what was going on. But by the time the tree line fell, it was a big old building sitting right there, like, blam, hello. And sometimes that's how our problems are in our relationships. It's a little path that we keep going home.
Yeah, man.
Or you stay a little longer at work talking to your little coworker instead of going home. That's the little path that you keep taking. And you keep taking that little path, and you building something in them woods. And after a while, that tree line gonna drop. And when that tree line drop, boom, exposure. Everything is out in the open.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? So we got to understand it's a little path to trouble, but eventually that trouble gonna knock down that tree line.
Yeah.
And if one of you is taking a little path every day, and the other one is not even caring that, well, all right, well, they ain't coming home. They're coming home late again, or they give me all kind of excuses. I ain't investigating. I ain't trying to see what's going on.
Oh, Lord, no.
Well, it's your marriage. Either you're going to care and be concerned to try to figure out what's going on, or you might be doing your little thing on the side too, taking your own little path.
Right.
Oh, this time he ain't coming home to such anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and do what I'm going to do. You see what I'm saying? That's two people that's not taking care of business.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you've been stopped doing what you used to do. You've been stopped talking like you do. You've been stopped holding hands and walking through the mall and going to the waterfront and sitting on the swing and all the little lovey-dovey stuff you used to do. Now you come home, you ain't cooked yet. What is this right here? Why you tracking mud in the house? You're talking to each other all nasty and sideways. The other person talking all sweet and gentle. How was your day? Well, what's going on? You got trouble at the house? You see what I'm saying? But we don't pay attention to them kind of things. And then we want to put all the blame. It's easy to put all the blame on one person.
Right.
It's never one person's fault in a relationship. It's almost always two people's fault, because there's no way it takes two to tango, and we got to be willing to understand that. Now, when we get on the flip side, after the break, after the brokenness, it's going to take two people to put it back together.
It is.
It's going to take effort on both sides, because here's the thing that people get into after something happens. We done decide, okay, we're going to make it work. We're going to make it work. And then you can't forget nor forgive.
Oh, right.
Every time the long, what do you get from the store? Oh, why it take so long? I went to the store the other day. It take me that long to get in there and get out. I mean, how you would drive the person crazy? Now the person don't apologize.
Right.
You say I forgive you, but now I'm being held to the crime. That's what we do to criminals.
Mhm.
Oh, you a felon? Oh, I can't hire you. Well, how you expect me to get my life together and be a model citizen if I can't even get a
Right.
regular 9 to 5? You ain't even doing nothing life threatening. You just flipping burgers and fixing cars.
Mhm.
So I can't do that because I got a felony. Come on, man.
And I like what you said with that when the situation comes up now at the beginning of it, you're gonna feel like you want to bring it back up, or you're gonna. And let me tell you this: if you never talk about what happened or the whole situation of the trust being broken, you never discuss it.
You ain't deal with it.
You have not fixed the problem
No.
yet. You want to know why? Because in the back of your mind,
You always got
you're gonna
questions.
always think like, why did
You
you
got
do it? What
questions.
happened? You're gonna have to. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be one person's probably gonna feel like, man, I don't want to talk about this. It's over and done with. But you have to understand that for the other
Gotta discuss
person
it.
that didn't do, what it took to break the relationship or break the trust, you have to understand. You have to give that to them. You got to give it to them so they'll understand. Well, this is what took place. This is what happened, and I think this is what needs to be worked on. You got to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because if you never talk about it or discuss the whole issue, guess what? It's going to happen again. And guess what? You're going to keep it bottled up so much inside of you that you're going to continue to lash out. Not only you're going to continue to lash out, but you're going to continue to throw it in their face about the things that they did. You're going to continue to have some kind of negative reaction about it because of the simple fact that you didn't talk about it. It has to be a discussion that is made. If you don't make the discussion relevant, then guess what? Then you're gonna go through some situations. I'm telling you, you're gonna go through. It's gonna take even longer to get past the whole rebuilding or regaining of the trust because you don't want to talk about it. It's like, man, I know I already messed up. I know I did this and I know I did that. But you ain't got to ask me about it. You ain't got to ask me what happened. You ain't got to. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You have to allow them people or allow that person to get the healing that they need. Because if you don't, it's going to be a forever open wound. It's going to be a forever open scar that's just sitting there. It's just going to be like you just got a sore and you continue to pour alcohol on the thing. And every time the thing want to look like it want to heal, you pour more alcohol on it. And guess what? The only way it's going to heal properly is if I let it air out. If you let it air out and let it get the air on it that it needs and let the scab fill on it. And that's how we have to do with our relationship. You have to air it out. You have to allow the heal of the wound to heal. You have to allow the scab to just leave it be.
And if you're gonna say I forgive you, then actually forgive.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? You got to actually practice. And forgiving is not easy.
Nope.
Forgiving is not easy. And again, like we always talk about, forgiving is not for that person. You forgive for you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not forgiving for you, it's eating you up. You know what I'm saying? You're the one that is very suspicious about every move a person makes and things like that. And that doesn't help a relationship. Suspicion and jealousy does not help a relationship whatsoever. Trust helps a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And when that trust is gone, you might say, well, it's hard to trust again. It's as hard as you want it to be.
Right.
It's as hard as you want it to be. Now, if this person is giving you reason not to trust them, that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if this person has done asked for your forgiveness and he's making amends or she's making amends, you got to let that person make amends.
Mm-hmm.
You can't keep holding it over their head
Right.
as some kind of I don't even know the word I'm looking for. But it's
As
like
a con.
it's like what we do to convicts. You know what I'm saying? You can't treat them like an ex-con.
Right.
Yo, you got a felony. I can't trust you. Yeah, you mean I done paid my debt to society.
Right.
So I done paid my debt, then I'm good. I'm square with the government. Why I can't be square with you?
Yeah, man.
In other words, if I tell God, if I went to God and said, I apologize, I'm sorry, Lord, and Lord, forgive me. Well, how much more I got to ask, beg your forgiveness? If I done said sorry and I done told God I'm sorry, I'm good. I'm square with the government. I'm square with God, but I ain't square with you. You know, and the other thing I've heard saying, and I don't know how my wife feels at this moment, but I know she used to say this all the time. She got this thing about not believing apologies if they're not the way she thinks they should be. If they're
Only
not.
if it don't seem sincere, then I got a problem with
Again, if it don't seem sincere on her level, that's not the way it should be. Because how a person apologizes is how a person apologizes. You gotta give people that space. You understand what I'm saying? Because if I say I'm sorry, and I say, well, I'm sorry, you want me to have tears in my eyes and want me to come like, oh my God, I'm just so sorry, I'm sorry. And that's not how I apologize. You can't say I'm not being sincere. You understand what I'm saying? What you have to do is take what I'm saying for face value until I show you otherwise, because that's how God does us. When we say God forgive us, he forgives us. Even if at the time we really didn't mean it, but we said it, but because you said it, he'll say, okay, I forgive you. If it's not real, it's going to show up in your actions. You see what I'm saying? So don't just hold me to how I said it because you didn't like the way I said it, or I didn't say it as sincere as you would have thought it should have been, because that's going to make problems too. Because a lot of times, most people, and I'm not talking about the extreme or the certain situations where people did this or people did that. I'm talking about generally speaking, people, if they like that, like I am, most people ain't gonna say sorry if they really don't mean it, especially men. Most people ain't gonna say sorry. Now, if you really saying it with a nasty attitude, we understand. If you're saying, oh, sorry, you know what I'm saying? Come on, we understand that that's not real. I'm talking about an apology that somebody gives you. You got to be willing to accept the apology and trust that person until they show you something otherwise. A lot of times, what we'll do, we'll say, okay, I forgive you. And then we hold that little ace in the hole. So when something come up and we want to do a little something sideways, we're going to hold on that because that's going to be our excuse. Well, they did such and such to me. Now I got an opportunity to do something back. I'm going to do it. We don't care if that we don't accept their apology and we say, I forgive you, and they trying to make amends. Because in our heart, what we really want is revenge. That's the truth of the matter. A lot of times we want that revenge to hurt them the way they hurt us. And we don't want to leave them. We don't want them to leave because we want them to stay right here till I can get my revenge. That's what be on a lot of people's minds. It's not that I want to stay with you, because sometimes people will stay to get their revenge, and once they get their revenge, they say, now you know how I feel. Now you can leave. People do that all the time. But I want you to stay around because I got to get my payback. Don't quit. You know how people like to quit the game. Don't quit yet. You know, put that draw for on me, and then you gonna quit. No, don't quit. I got something for you. Then when I play my double draw falls on you, now you can quit. That's how people are. People want the one up. People. They do.
Right.
They really do. That's how they really do. They want the one up. You're not going to do what you do and walk out. No, I forgive you. Stay right here. I forgive you till I get me. Once I get me, then I don't care if you quit. Good. Bye. And that's how we are. And we should not be that way. If we're going to be in a relationship, first of all, we got to understand that we're human.
Right.
We're going to make mistakes. We're going to make bad judgment calls. We're going to make bad decisions. It's life. It's a fact. It's going to happen. If we look at one another like that other person's supposed to be perfect, we're going to have a problem. Because the minute they mess up, it's going to tear us apart. It's going to tear us apart. And I'm not saying you should just accept every dumb thing that people do to you. But what I'm saying is you still got to give people room enough to be human. You got to give room enough for people to be human and make mistakes. And most people, when they make mistakes, they are sorry. We like to say things like, you ain't sorry, you just sorry you got caught. Well, how do you know I wasn't sorry before I got caught? Just because I didn't tell you sorry? A lot of times people are doing things wrong and they want to stop, and they're having a hard time trying to stop. It's just like smoking. Most people don't really want to smoke and they want to quit, and they know they should quit. They see the commercials. They know they're killing themselves, but they keep smoking. Why? There's an addiction. There's a problem. Most people who do the things they do because there is a problem within that person. Whether you recognize it in the beginning or not, there's a problem. And if you love that person, you should want to help love them through the problem. You understand what I'm saying? And that's where that communication comes in. A lot of times our communication isn't good enough. Our communication isn't good enough to really find out who this person really is that I married, who this person really is that I entangled my life with, who this person really is that I got children with. We were so busy caught up in the goodness of the sex, we forgot to find out about the goodness of the person. We overlooked all of that because the sex was good. Let's be real, ladies and gentlemen. We look over a lot of things for good sex. We look over good looks for good sex. We look over a lot of things. Well, I don't like the way they laugh and his feet smell bad, but boy, he be putting it down. This is what we do. We be putting it down. Well, she can't cook for nothing, but boy, she be putting it down. Now you done been married to her. Now your stomach rumbling every night, or you got to go to your mama's house to get a good meal on Sunday. Now you're mad. You talking about, well, you don't even cook. She ain't never was cooking. She never cooked. Now you want to be mad because she ain't cooking. That don't even make sense. Or you married a dude who ain't had no job. And you talking about, you won't even hold down a decent job. He never did. But he been putting it down. He been working it out. Come on now. Come on. We got to make sense of this thing, man. When you get into these relationships, you can't just be diving in and out relationships. First of all, a lot of us are carrying around extra baggage. A lot of us got baggage from the last 3, 4, 5 people we done been with. And we ain't really worked that out yet. We ain't really got a good grip on ourselves from back then. And then we want to put all that on the next person. And tell, well, you got to love me for me. Oh, I got to love you for you and Tom and John and everybody else you done been with. Because you holding me to a standard of a bunch of strangers I ain't never met. Come on now. Hey, the phone lines are open. 843-648-1239. I know you got an opinion. Y'all done been through marriages. Some of y'all done been divorced and remarried. Come on. Get on the line. Some of y'all marriages is going through right now. Don't be scared. Talk about it. If you need to inbox us, then inbox us. Inbox either one of us, and we'll talk about it. Inbox of us, and we'll bring it up. You can do it anonymously. We ain't gonna call your name or nothing. But I know y'all got some input on this. I know y'all have been through some things and had some of your own ups and downs with the people that you may still be with, or you might done left them.
Okay.
But we want to know about it. We want to help somebody else out. You know what I'm saying? We done been there and done that, but it ain't just about us. This is an interactive talk show. So we want to know what y'all think, what y'all done been through, how y'all feel about it. Maybe y'all don't agree with nothing we said. Good. Come on. Talk about it.
Yep.
This is what love, marriage, and ministry is about. It's about us talking together. It's not just about me and my wife getting in front of a camera and talking. That's not our bag.
Nope.
That's not our thing. It's not our cup of tea. It's not what we do. We like to have it interactive so you guys can comment, so you guys can tell us what you think. Give us your opinion. Call in 843-648-1239 or post your comment on Facebook. We're on YouTube Live. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you think. We want to know how you feel about it. Let us know. You're more than welcome to be a part of what's going on. You're more than welcome to say your piece and get your comment in. Because we want to know. We're talking relationships. Being able to forgive. Forgiving ain't easy, but it's not impossible. Like I said, this is after the trust has been broken. The trust hasn't been destroyed.
No.
It's been broken. And things that are broken can be fixed.
It can be fixed.
And God is the great fixer. He said he mends the broken heart. You understand what I'm saying? He's the mind regulator.
Oh, yeah.
So it can be fixed, but we got to want it to be fixed. We've been there. We've been through it. We've lost trust and we got it back through the grace of God. Through the grace of God, what you see with us is through the grace of God. We got a caller on the line, and we're going to go to the phone lines and get our caller. Hello, caller, can you hear us? Caller, are you there?
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing good, man. What's going on with you?
Nothing much. Go ahead with your comment and let people know what's on your mind.
Well, I want to say, definitely, Apostle, you and Pastor Charmaine are correct. Forgiveness is forgetting. And sometimes it is hard to do that. But what we must remember, like I commented earlier, uh, see, God forgives us every day, and we go against some of the most ultimate things that He tells us to stay away from. But one thing I want to make mention, we must mirror Christ in His same image. And by doing that, we must take into consideration our relationship also. We must mirror our relationship in Christ's interest. So what I'm saying is the same way that we love Christ, we must love our wife. The same way that God forgives us, we must forgive those that trespass against us. That's the verse. And what I want to say is forgiveness is not easy. Forgiveness is not easy. But one thing I like to make mention, and I'm looking at my wife as I say this because I'm man enough to admit I've taken my wife through some things. And even in times that we went through, for some reason I couldn't figure out why this woman still stayed with me. And it was because the humble spirit that she had, the blessed by Christ that she was able to love me like Christ loved me. And that meant loving me through my flaws and being able to deal with me while I was going through. But the first thing we had to do was keep everything open. Pastor Charmaine said it best. She deserved the questions that she was asking. She deserved asking me why and who and how. She needed those things in order to heal. And at first, I didn't understand that. And a lot of males don't understand after being caught up. And females on that, Jacob, being caught up, they don't want to go through the same thing of I don't want to tell you about how it happened or why it happened or when it happened. But we must understand that at that point, if you've been caught up, you're in the wrong. And if you love that woman enough, if you love that man enough, then you give them what they need to heal from it so that you can rekindle the fire that you had in the beginning. Thank you so much for your time, Apostle and Pastor Charmaine. I love you both. Looking to see you guys real soon.
Amen. Thank you. We appreciate that call right there. Awesome, awesome words coming from Pastor. I'm gonna say his name. He didn't say his name. I ain't say his name. My brother that called in on today. But we thank God because those are some very true words. If you guys have words that you want to share or comments that you want to share, the lines are open. 843-648-1239. We would love to hear from you. We would love to hear what's on your mind. Maybe you want to share something anonymously, as my brother did just now. You don't have to give no name or anything. You can just let us know what's on your mind if you have something that you want to say. There's so many different circumstances, situations that people have gone through that have disturbed and broken the trust within the relationship. But no matter what it is, if the two people desire to work it out and forgive, they can take that long road back to trust, back to mending that trust and mending those broken areas of the relationship.
And you know what? Let me tell you. Let me also add this. Whenever you're going through that situation in your marriage where your trust has been broken, that's not a good time to start telling everybody what done happened in your house.
Oh no, sir.
That's the worst time to be like, oh, well, this right here happened with me, and this happened with me, my husband, or this right here happened with me. That's with me, my wife. That is the worst time for you to just start telling everybody your business, because now that you're telling this person and that person, let me tell you something. They got a friend. Y'all might be friends, but they got a friend too. And they're going to go right around talking about whatever you already told them. And guess what? You and your spouse could have turned around and y'all would have had done or made up. But then you didn't go back and let them know, listen, oh, everything was good. You know, we done made up. And they're not going to always go back and tell their friends that they already told what was going on. They go back telling people looking at y'all like, girl,
it's worse when you tell your family, because your family don't forget.
Stupid. I wouldn't stay with them. They dumb. I wouldn't have been with them because I know she said this or he said she did that. Let me tell you something. Don't tell people what you got going on in your marriage. If you don't have some leaders that you really trust and you don't mind sitting down having a conversation with, and you know it's not going to go nowhere, don't start telling everybody. Don't start telling everybody, because guess what? Them people gonna start giving you all their opinions, and they're gonna start giving you your, if I was you, this, I would do this and do that. They're gonna start giving you all this, and now you're gonna be looking at it like, I shouldn't trust them. See, I look over there. I bet you on the phone right now with somebody. We're gonna have a whole bunch of other stuff playing in the back of our mind because now we done invited too many people in our house. We done invited too many people in our world. We done invited too many people in our circle, and you can't do that. If you and your spouse is going through a situation, y'all going through some tests and trials, and y'all need somebody to talk to, talk to. If you got to go to the therapist, go to the therapist. Do what you got to do so that you can get this conversation had. Sometimes you can't just talk in the heat of the moment because nobody's going to be able to hear anybody. Nobody's going to be able to hear what the other person is trying to say. When you have situations like that, you need a mediator. You're going to need somebody in the middle. You're going to need somebody there that's going to be able to
especially if
say,
you can't control your anger and you know what I'm saying. Sometimes you talking it out. I'll interrupt you.
yes, you know you interrupted me.
I didn't know.
But
till
you're
you was
gonna
looking at
need-
me like that.
You're going to need somebody there that's able to be like, okay, let's calm down. You're gonna need somebody that's gonna be able to bring the peace in the room. Look how I'm looking on that. You're gonna need somebody to bring the peace in the room. Because if you don't have somebody that's gonna bring the peace in there, then guess what? Y'all gonna stay arguing. Y'all gonna stay at each other's throat. Y'all gonna stay. So you have to probably do like how what my man name is, Adam. You have to just go ahead and just calm down. Let Jesus come at the cool of the day. You're gonna have to wait till the cool of the day to even start discussing this thing. Calm down for a minute. If that person that you hurt, that person who trusts and felt like their trust has been broken, you know you done messed up somewhere down the line. If they screaming and yelling and crying, let them have it, man. Don't let people feel like, oh, you don't even need to cry about this. Ain't nothing to cry about, or this. No, man, let them have it. Let them go ahead and cry it out. Let them go ahead and knock you up one time. Look, no, don't let them hit you. But go ahead and cry it out and different things like that. Don't let it stay bottled up. And just like, Apostle was about to say, let him go ahead and say what he's about to say.
Oh, now I can talk.
Yes, because I'm not talking.
Anyway, what I was going to say is that when you get to the part of talking it out, you got to make sure that you want to hear or you're ready to hear the answers to the questions you're asking.
Yep.
Because sometimes we want to know the questions, but we just mad. No, tell me what happened. Tell me. No, I'm not going to tell you because you're already mad. I don't need you to be madder.
Right.
So we're going to wait. And then when we talk, we need to be able to talk and hear each other. So when I say the things that I need to say, you can hear me. Because just because one is at fault don't mean they don't have nothing to say. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because they're going to let you know, usually when the person undid it, they want to talk to you about what caused them to want to do it. And most times you don't want to hear that because you don't want to believe that you did anything. If you don't go into the conversation in your mind thinking that you the victim and you done all this done perpetrated happened to you. Like I was saying earlier, we all carry some blame. Some may carry more blame than the other, but nobody is without blame. And if you don't accept that first, then you're going to have a hard time getting back to where you want to be. And that's forgiveness. And I heard, let me say this, because that reminded me of something I heard Pastor say earlier about getting back. People say, I want to get back to the way it was. There's no going back. There's no going back. That's just like, life is just like is life. So when you get out of elementary school, you can't go back, right? No. And the older you get, and the more you keep trying to go back, after a while, you're gonna be breaking laws.
Yeah, man.
You can't go back. You can't be hanging around there.
Like a pedophile.
You can't be going back to I'm just going to check out the old. No, you can't be doing that. Do you have some children to go here? Why are you here? You just can't be the strange dude or the strange chick hanging out at the school. You didn't graduate. Yeah, this your alumni. Go on about your business now. We'll let you know when we call alumni to come back. You can't go. There is no going back. Once you go through a thing, life does not go in reverse.
No.
You can find peace down the road, but you can't go back to the peace that you used to have.
No, you can't.
For one thing, you're a different person. My wife liked to say, babe, pick me up. Well,
you don't even have to say that.
I'm using it as an example. Calm.
Go, man.
Musa.
You still can pick me up. What are you going to say? I'm heavy?
I can't pick her up. 2 reasons. She ain't the size she used to be, and I ain't as strong as I used to be. So no, I can't.
I thought you was
I can-
Superman.
I can like pick her up and put her down. Back in the day, I used to pick her up, hold her up, carry her around. I can't do that now. I ain't gonna lie to myself. I'm almost 50. I can't do it. I ain't gonna, and I'm not gonna hurt myself trying to make her think, babe, pick me up. Okay. And then next thing you know, I'm laying up and she rubbing salve on me, trying to help me get back on my
What?
feet. I can't, We got to be realistic, okay? We got to go forward and find the new happiness. I don't want the old happiness. The old happiness was good for us back then. I want the new happiness. You know why? Because the old happiness, we was broke without vehicles. We had to walk everywhere we go, but we was happy. We was so in love. She was talking about, babe, remember that time we had walked to Dairy Queen? Yeah, but I ain't walking to Dairy Queen right now. You know what I'm saying? I got that what I got a car for. That's what I make payments and insurance and taxes and all that stuff. That's what I do all that stuff for. I pay the mechanic to keep my thing working right. I don't want to go back. Sometimes going back ain't good. Stop with that. Let's go back to how we used to. No, let's not. Let's find the new happiness. Let's find the new us. Let's go find what's new. Let's go to the future. I don't want to go back to the future. I ain't Michael J. Fox in them. I don't want to get in the DeLorean and put no fire on the streets. I want to go forward. I want to keep going forward. Like Jessica Reedy said, I want to keep moving forward. I want to get the life that God got for me, and that's in front of me. It's not behind me.
Right.
I want my relationship to always be moving forward. I don't want us to go back to the old landmark. I want to keep moving. God is leading me forward. God ain't saying, hey, you went too far, come back. God ain't calling us back like that. When he says start your first work over, he talking about in your mind, get your mind right. Get your spirit right. He ain't say take your whole relationship back.
Hey, Helen.
Sometimes you got to break down all the foolishness to get to the core so we can take the core and move it forward. But it's always about forward progression.
Yep.
It's always about forward motion. If our relationship was exactly where it was when we first started, I wouldn't be happy right now. Because 23 years, almost 23 years in, 23 years in, and we ain't made no progress. Something wrong. We ain't made no progress. We still ain't got no car. We still working these little bum jobs. We still at McDonald's.
What?
Nah. That make a person want to go get leave the one they with and start a new relationship.
Yeah.
That make you want to leave. And hey, it's all I'm gonna get. This it, as good as it get.
Mm-hmm.
No, man. We supposed to be moving forward. And sometimes moving forward means we gonna move through some valleys, y'all.
Yep.
Moving forward means sometimes we gonna go through some rough places. We gonna hit some rough road. But we gonna keep moving forward. We gonna move through some storms. It's gonna be some rough winters to go through. But we gotta keep moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go back. I don't want things as they used to be. Even Little House on the Prairie, you know what? Eventually, them people got telephones. Eventually, them people started moving and calling and doing some things. They got businesses. And eventually, the cities, they moved out off the prairie and moved into the cities. It's always got to be some motion, some forward motion. So yeah, just because we went through something doesn't mean this is the end.
Right.
It means this is a part that we have to go through in order to get to where we're going. Because to be honest, if your relationship hasn't went through something,
okay,
then how good is it?
Okay.
How good is it? If you haven't been through something, how good is your relationship? How do you know how good it is if it hasn't been tested?
Mm-hmm.
You know how they know Volvo is one of the safest cars in the world? Because it's been tested. It's been tested. It's been put through tests. They wreck them to see how they do in wrecks. Why do you think they slam cars into brick walls? To see what they're going to do, to see what they can fix, make it safer. So I feel pretty safe in my relationship because we done slammed this relationship against some walls. We done come up, this thing done went off the cliff a couple times. But we still here, we still survive, we still together, we still in love. Not just loving each other, but we are in love. And the only reason we know we in love because we've been through something. How do I know this is the person I'm supposed to be with? Because we've been through something. So for those of you who haven't been through anything, don't be so quick to want to give up.
Okay.
Don't be so quick to want to shut it down. Because this is the thing that's strengthening the relationship. What you're going through strengthens you. If it don't make you, it'll break you.
And you know
Boom,
what?
it's on you.
You know
Tag
what?
you it.
Don't do it again. And you know what? We can't get married and feel like we about to live like in fairy tale land, and because you're gonna get yourself set up for a bunch of disappointments. Don't feel like at one moment, oh, this I'm getting married because this is the perfect person, and I know they're never gonna do this and never gonna do that, and we're never gonna fuss, we're never gonna have fights, we're never
Man,
gonna
go ahead with that
disagree.
crap.
I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna
Stop.
set yourself up for a bunch of disappointments. It's just what it is. You're gonna go through some things, but it's up to you to be able to stand it. It's up to you to do what you have to do to regain trust and to rebuild your relationship. Because if you don't have that trust in your partner, when you start going through things, you're just not going to want to fix it. You're not
Amen.
going to want to repair it. So, go through whatever it is that you have to go through. Rebuild and regain, redo.
Amen.
You like that?
Hey, our time is far spent. I didn't even realize. Our time
Marriage
is up.
is work, darling. You're absolutely right.
You better know it, sis. Hey, our time is up. If you just joined us, if you joined us late, don't worry about it. You can catch the replay or you can catch the show next Saturday. It's going to be on Exquisite Internet Radio. If you have not already done so, make sure you go to your app store and download the EIR app, where you can catch us every other Saturday on Love, Marriage, and Ministry. Plus, you can subscribe to the channel on YouTube as well.
Go to YouTube, Helen.
Go to YouTube and subscribe.
And
Not just you,
subscribe.
everybody get other people to subscribe so we can get our subscription numbers up, so that in just a little bit, when we all are free and we go back to doing our outdoor outreach activities, we'll be able to go YouTube Live as well as Facebook Live when we get on out there.
We're gonna be outside this Sunday.
All right. That's what's up. Hey, we thank God for each and every one of you coming through and being a part of Love, Marriage, and Ministry. It's the social media talk show. We'll be back at you with another live show on, this is third?
Next month.
First Saturday of the month. We'll be back first Saturday of the month for another live show. But don't forget, you can catch the replay of this show next Saturday on Exquisite Internet Radio from 6 to 8 p.m. All right. God bless you guys. We appreciate you guys. Want you to have yourself a safe weekend. Don't forget to join us in the morning for the Lion's Den broadcast ministry of Truth Foundation Outreach Ministries. And of course, our Sunday ministry broadcast as well. We start church at 9.
How you forget me?
Because I was thinking 10 because we'll be in the schools.
9 o'clock.
So thank God for you. We appreciate you guys. Continue to pray for us. Want you to enjoy the rest of your evening. Hey, it's still early. Go do something. Have a movie night or do something and forgive. If you done been through something,
Cash App me $25.
just forgive. All right. God bless each and every one of you. Be safe. We gone.
Ups and downs. Ups and downs. We've been together, seem like forever, and I wanna spend another lifetime. Cause it don't get much better, don't care about the weather,